Judgmental. It's one of those words that seems to follow Chow Chows everywhere, usually accompanied by a photograph of a chow staring into someone's soul, or perhaps wondering why you're wearing socks with sandals. Whatever they're thinking, people are convinced they're judging. Perhaps we've been using the wrong word, because before Nkiru reaches a conclusion, she spends an awful lot of time simply watching. This is one of her favourite places, the front gate. Not because something exciting is happening, because something might. Watch her for a moment. A neighbour walks past, nothing. A cyclist, nothing. A bird lands nearby, nothing. The rubbish truck arrives. Mike seems convinced this deserves everyone's immediate attention. Miku appears to agree. Nkiru is looking somewhere else entirely. Curious. Why were those things unimportant, yet something else was worth watching? Later, her focus changes. Her ears lift. Her body changes, and suddenly, "Come on, this way, don't lose it!" The bark rings out. Mike appears. The patrol begins. Whatever caught Nkiru's attention has now become everybody's business. The bark is easy to notice. What happened before it is much easier to miss. Watch again. People pass. Nothing. Cars. Nothing. Voices. Nothing. She notices every one of them. Sometimes only an ear moves. Sometimes her eyes follow. Sometimes she stands. Then, nothing. She settles again. Apparently, today's paperwork has been declined. Perhaps she isn't waiting for something to happen. Perhaps she's anticipating what might. Here's another moment. Notice it carefully. Nkiru is on the wrong side of the fence. She gets called. She looks immediately. The message has arrived. But instead of rushing back, she stops, looks, tries one place. No. Another. Not quite. She climbs onto the broken stump, looks again. Still no. She moves. Tries a different section of fence. Stops. Looks. Back to the solid section. And this time, over she comes. The sound returns. Without hesitation, back over the fence she goes. Mike isn't far behind. Interesting. She didn't simply repeat the same attempt until it worked. Each attempt was slightly different, almost as though each one gave her new information. In 1789, English naturalist Gilbert White described imported Chinese dogs giving tongue all the while, an old hunting expression meaning they made excited hunting calls as they chased their prey. Watching Nkiru, it's difficult not to think of that old observation. The prey may have changed. A guinea fowl, a cat, a tiny dog across the street. But the sound still feels strangely familiar. It doesn't sound like panic, it sounds purposeful. Everyone, there's something worth paying attention to. An ancient hunting call, still echoing through a modern suburban neighbourhood. The same pattern appears throughout her day. Call Nkiru. She looks. No doubt she heard. Then, she returns to watching the street. The request has been received. It is currently under consideration. Eventually, she wanders over, not because she'd forgotten, because she'd finished with a decision she was already making. While the others choose to sleep together, Nkiru quietly heads for Granny's room. Nobody organised this. Nobody suggested it. As with many of Nkiru's decisions, it simply became so. When Miku arrived, another decision. Acceptance. A shared toy. A chew. A game. Occasionally, a gentle reminder that enthusiasm and manners aren't always the same thing. No fuss, just quiet confidence. Of course, even careful assessment has its blind spots, especially if somebody happens to be eating roast chicken. At that point, Nkiru's assessment reaches a conclusion remarkably convenient to herself. Head-on lap. Soulful eye contact. Wait patiently. Apparently, negotiation remains an important life skill. Perhaps this is where we've misunderstood Chow Chows. Maybe independence isn't quite the right word. Because what we've been watching isn't simply independence. It's something quieter. Watching. Anticipating. Assessing. Deciding. Sometimes changing that decision when new information arrives. Independent judgment. There's a difference between quickly following instructions and independently evaluating a situation. They rely on different strengths. Watching Nkiru, it's easy to forget these behaviours didn't appear by accident. For generations, they had value. Dogs that noticed, dogs that anticipated, dogs that made decisions without waiting for constant direction. What we're watching isn't simply an independent dog, it's an ancient mind at work in a modern suburban garden. If we choose to preserve an ancient breed, we're choosing to preserve an ancient way of thinking too. That way of thinking isn't always the easiest fit in the modern world, but perhaps it isn't supposed to be. At the beginning of this story, Nkiru looked like a dog quietly lying by the gate. Now, look again. She isn't doing nothing. She never was. Once you understand what you're seeing, you don't stop training. You start communicating differently.